Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the interwebs to the Beacon TVL show, Total Value Locked. I'm Chris, your host here. I have Andrew and Legacies, two of my favorite people in this space, joining me on panel today. Welcome, gentlemen. Hopefully everything is well on your side of this planet. How's the weather out there, Legacies?
It's heating up here in Southern California. It was actually pretty gloomy the past couple of days, which I was pretty surprised. It was kind of cold, especially for something like June. But definitely heating up, which is
define cold in Southern California.
It's like what,
it was
90?
like no, it was like 65. It was like
oh, that is 60, cold,
right? 60, 65.
Yeah, that is cold.
Surprised. It was reminding me of like North California weather, so I was like, "Huh, you don't really get that."
Yeah, it's like you're in Pacifica or something like that. That's cold. Yeah. Half Moon Bay. Shout out to my family on Half Moon Bay. Yeah, I missed that.
Does it ever get warm in Nebraska, Chris?
Yeah, actually. You know, the thing about being here in the plains, here on the what we call the Silicon Prairie, is that ultimately, we're 1,000 feet above sea level. Once it gets hot here, it also gets windy because we're also in Tornado Alley. So it's like being in a hairdryer some days. You get hot wind and hot humidity. It's not as bad as Florida. It's not swampy, but it can be warm. Would be the way. How about you out there in North Carolina, sir?
You know, it's warm, it's humid, it's being a little weird, hard to define weird, but just we're starting to get flash thunderstorms, starting to get those summer storms. But yeah, I mean, we've probably got more interesting things to talk about than the weather, such as the impacts of U.S. monetary policy. Like I often kind of wake up thinking about or go to sleep thinking about, I was thinking about how this market is different than last cycle. In like the really obvious ways. That so far this whole bull run has really just been driven by institutional money and large inflows, but the retail interest is much low. I think like on YouTube metrics alone for crypto, we're like only at 1/8 of the top from 2024. So continue to reflect on whether that's bullish or bearish. I feel like there's both a bull case for the current lack of retail interest, and there's also a bear case for it.
What do you think, Legacies? We might have no Legacies at the moment.
What do you think, Chris?
You know, I think it depends on what we see with the health of the dollar. I honestly think that's going to be, something that's going to really take flight, I think, in the next 6 months. I don't have it in the agenda, but I saw a report somewhere that there's the possibility that, up to 67 banks could be on the brink of collapse based on FDIC information. I don't know if you saw that. I didn't have a chance to verify that fact, but just the fact that there are people talking about this, I do think that it's going to lead specifically to issues we are going to have moving forward with liquidity, available liquidity, and then the ability to pay back that debt, which kind of leads me to something that I saw. It's an interesting take. We'll start with that today before we go to the next piece. That T-bills is something that Republicans have started to kind of pick up on, specifically with tokenization, as a way for maybe stablecoins to bail out T-bills in some way by tokenizing it 1-to-1 with, to other buyers from across the world. As you know, many countries have been decreasing their share of T-bills, while others, like Tether, is like is in the top 20 of all T-bill ownership. So, I think this is an interesting take. This is from Pranav Kanad, who is a portfolio manager at Venek, one of the brokers, or one of the I guess you could call them brokers for the ETH ETF, specifically for both Bitcoin and ETH. And his take is that the reason why, and we've always said that stablecoins killer app, crypto's killer app is stablecoins, is that pairing them up with T-bills for the private sector could be huge. There are like big pension funds buying into some of these ETFs as well. And whether there's a ripple effect on that, I'm not completely sure. But I do think this is an interesting take. And I don't know, Andrew, what your thoughts are on this with regards to stablecoins and, calls for clear regulation specifically for this use case. Specifically for this take that, clear regulation around stablecoins would increase their use and thus increase the demand for U.S. treasuries.
Yeah, I think there's a case that, the tokenization of everything, like one of our friends from BlackRock might put it, the tokenization of everything has advantage for a lot of asset classes, and T-bills as an asset class is something that the U.S. government needs continued interest in. It's interesting. I think this circles back to what you guys were talking about pre-call before I jumped on. Which is kind of nothing less than the threat to the U.S. dollar as a global reserve currency that crypto is. So there's like a love-hate relationship there. There's the huge trouble the U.S. government is in with its deficit, and the way that new financial instruments can kind of soften that blow. And then there's just the overall contradiction, or the overall threat.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I personally, my take on this is that clear regulation when it comes to stablecoin is an absolute needed thing, especially like to bring your point back earlier when it comes to this bull cycle and how it's institution. It's me personally feel that especially with retail, it's really really hard to on-ramp crypto, especially when it comes to on-ramping stablecoins, because the threat of money laundering is very, very high, especially since you can just move it out of the country into other territories. Without a clear sort of regulations, in place with this, a lot of the exchanges, especially if you're in the USA, they don't really know what to do with it. I have had severe problems with Coinbase just trying to on ramp USDC. Even they ask for so many documentations, and it's kind of counterproductive when it comes to crypto. When, let's say, you see a project, you want to on ramp, and they block you for, let's say, 3 weeks, where then you're pretty much out of liquidity, and that really really sucks. I feel like to get retail people back in, and especially more excited about the space, with the regulations in place, we can sort of have that what we experienced, I think, in 2020 with all the different exchanges that's able to on ramp really really fast.
Fast and trusted onboarding into stablecoins for retail.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think can also drive the market for retails, right? When it's just institution, it's a lot of these more like a complicated, like fund seed raises, where it can get a bit overwhelming for the average investor and retailers, where they just don't have enough capital to participate. But for some of the smaller projects, or just in general of buying, coins that are not available on centralized exchanges. A better way to on-ramp, I think, is needed. And that comes, I think, with the approval of regulations when it comes to stablecoin. It's just so much easier when you know that, okay, I'm, let's say, on-ramping $1,000, $5,000, and I can put it into my DeFi wallet and then go on to something like 1inch or Uniswap and just, buy the token that I wanted instead of just waiting for it to be listed on, let's say, Coinbase or Kraken or OKX.
Yeah, we might get there pretty soon. We'll go and move on to our next piece that I wanted to cover, that kind of covers that, and that is the fact that we've had record inflows coming back in. Specifically on this chart, this is the one I wanted to bring up, where we're having, increased net inflows over time into the Bitcoin ETFs. I think this is, fairly bullish overall for the health of the market. And to also bring up this other piece I want to talk about, which is Mo Sheikh, the CEO of Aptos Labs, the adjacent blockchain to Aptos and Sui, also, I guess you could say adjacent to Solana in some ways, named to CFTC's Digital Asset Subcommittee. Now, once, again, I'm saying once, this FIT21 bill goes through the Senate and hopefully gets signed into law, because President Biden's administration has already said that they're not going to veto this one. They didn't say anything about SAB 121, but this will be interesting to see what the CFTC does with their authority over decentralized assets. Now, Mo Sheikh is one of 34 members. I think BlackRock and a couple other fintech execs are also on this subcommittee. They do report to the Global Markets Advisory Committee under the CFTC. But it's cool to see that, they already are having task groups in place to really just get the right guidance and advisories out there. I do hope that with him here in this spot that we'll get good, fair regulation, to what you said, Legacy, specifically, around digital assets out there that the public can use. Make it easy for any regular American American in this case, to come in and purchase crypto easily with stablecoins, or whatever asset that they choose to buy, and make it very simple. Any thoughts on this news bite, out of curiosity? Start with you, Andrew.
I don't know about much about Aptos Labs, and I don't know too much about this specific gentleman. But I think the main thing is that CFTC is actually ramping up to do some work and to have some people in place, and this is a fairly normal thing to be doing. So yeah, sorry I don't have too much more interesting to say about it, but yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that Uniswap Labs is there, so I probably won't be Hayden Adams, but maybe someone, senior on his team. It would have been cool to get, someone like Jesse Powell from Base on there, or, some other major decentralization, even someone like Eric Voorhees would have been great to put on this as well. Again, they had to apply through a written thing, so maybe it's a little bit of an arcane way to be nominated, or at least be thought of in this position. Legacies, do you have any thought on this? I don't know if you've ever met Mo Sheikh.
No, definitely know who he is. Haven't met, but listen to him talk. My thoughts are it's definitely good, right? The more of these people that can surround sort of these policies that are with people that actually have understanding of what crypto and digital asset is definitely positive news. I'm always scared until everything is actually hammered out and approved and we can see it. But let's say I'm hoping for the best right now when it comes to this.
Yeah, agreed. Going to move on to some unfortunate news. Over the weekend, looks like bricks on both Linea and ZK Sync. Era mainnet had a security breach. Looks like I hear differing numbers. They say 7 million, around 7 million. I've heard 10. Basically, there was just a smart contract exploit here. The issue that's interesting here is that they are audited 3 times using Zokyo, Hacken, and Scalebit, and they have a firewall through iron blocks, and they still got hit with this exploit. Now, it was a math issue. Basically, there's a smart contract function that's called whenever somebody opens a volatile pool on Velocore. They were able to cross a threshold, which was left unchecked based on the Post-Mortem. I'll have links to that in the show notes. And the attacker was able to execute and basically set up a flash loan attack to do this. So he brought in funds from Tornado, did the attack, sent them out back through Tornado. So I guess from what I've seen here, they were able to, looks like a couple of protocols were able to catch it. They just weren't able to specifically stop it. Linea actually got a little bit of hot water about this, because they actually shut down the sequencer to prevent the attacker from leaving with the funds, at least off of Linea. They couldn't obviously do it off ZK Sync. And that might be, the Velocore people are talking about, what happened specifically on ZK Sync and not Linea, but kind of brought up some issues, because, decentralization, is a tough topic, especially for some of these younger L2s, that with Linea being from Consensus or backed by Consensus. Declan Fox, friend of Beacon, we've had him on a call. Check it out on our YouTube channel if you haven't. Had a great talk about how Linea works and how ZKs should hopefully work in the future. It was quite a bit ago, so maybe a different take than what we had since ETH Denver, but they're now working on a plan to decentralize the sequencer on a very quick time frame. We'll start with you, Legacies. Any thoughts on this specifically? Obviously, we don't like to see any type of exploit. We don't want to see anybody lose money, but on a protocol that was fairly well audited and had, a layer put up to prevent stuff like this, and this happens. Obviously, this will strengthen the code more, but you mentioned you do have a bit of a paranoia with security and making sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the thing you're going to run into with a young L2. I mean, even with mature ones, with audits, things like this can happen. And that's the whole thing with the argument, right? When it comes to decentralization, in a full decentralized situation where, nothing like this can be shut down, take, BTC, for example, that's, I would say, the truest and purest form you can get. But as soon as we're talking about you moving on to EVM chain, layer 2s and stuff like that, to prevent hackers from moving funds or anything like this, it's just unfortunate, but it's what you can willing to give and take. It is definitely an interesting topic, because my take on it is sort of like users have to sort of adopt and agree with that. And when you give that sort of true form of decentralizations, then where the users actually feel that, okay, you don't have a control, you can't shut it off, then there's no way to sort of prevent the attacks once it happens. Once it happens, the fun is more than likely gone, and you have to come up with the creative ways of trying to get it back. I've seen it happen so many times throughout my DeFi journey and crypto journey. But again, I don't really have a preference right now. My take on it is just to, as an average user or as an investor, to diversify as much as you can. I'm bullish never just on one specific chain. It's always my asset is spread across as many sort of these chains that I feel confident with as possible.
Yeah, great point. And Andrew, this is right up things we talk about quite a bit. Just to kind of riff off of that, as you say, no more than 30% in any one protocol to help with things like this. Yeah, it's unfortunate that this happened. Now, to their credit, because this is based off of fees on pools, on volatile pools, to help combat this, they did change the fees to zero. That way, there could be no further leveraged attacks on the pools based on this, because they gave up their admin rights, I think, to the code or something like that, in the name of decentralization. So. The Linea piece was very unique, but just wanted to see if you had any specific thoughts on this moving forward.
Quick question.
Yep.
Do you know what the relationship, if any, between Velocore and Velodrome is?
None. Different teams. That I know of.
Okay. So I wanted to check and see if Velocore had any bug bounties. And after going to their site, going into the docs, they are specifically referencing a Velodrome bug bounty contest from 2022.
They could be there's a very good possibly they're a fork of Velodrome, as many of these VE33 dexes are.
Yeah, I kind of seems like it, but going to Velocore, they're mentioning code for Arena, a code for Arena bug bounty contest for Velodrome between the 23rd and 30th of May 2022. And then they're also mentioning Solidly's bug bounty program launched on ImmuneFi in February 2022. So they don't have any bug bounties. They are trying to say that they're utilizing these previous bug bounties, but then they have major changes, minor changes, small changes. So that really looks terrible.
Yeah.
It looks terrible. Like there's I think there's a couple things about like bug bounties and audits, right? Like, first of all, it doesn't guarantee anything. Nothing guarantees anything. There can still be a bug in the code that can allow an exploit. But also, it's incredibly common for protocols to cite audits from a year ago, from 2 years ago, since there's been major changes. And audits are expensive, so they don't want to pay for them every time there's a big change. I haven't really seen this happen with bug bounties before, though, which is, it's instead of it just being old, it's both an old bug bounty and there's dead links in the docs, and it's not even for their project. It's for a project that they forked a couple of years ago. So, man, they're just, it really just doesn't seem honest.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look, that's for sure.
And yeah, looking at like final reports from the 3 rounds of audits, August 2023, like nine months ago is what they're citing. So have they rolled out changes to the code since then would be the question there, because if they've rolled out changes to the code, it may not be that the auditors missed something. It's just that the auditors are looking at a different version of the code. So
that's true.
That's a bit of rambling, but it's like there's nuance to this. not only do I think that like large bug bounties are usually a better indicator that someone's taking security seriously, and there's also like a huge recurring problem with people forking a larger project and then like leaving behind a bug that was discovered in a previous project. So I'm speculating, but I wouldn't be terribly surprised if there was a fixed bug in Velodrome or Solidly that was never fixed downstream. This is incredibly common with compound forks.
Right.
Incredibly common. So it's gonna be interesting to like look at some security kind of post-mortem stuff on whether this was included in other projects' code bases and it was just never patched here, and that may have been even why the hacker or the exploiter was aware of the thing of the ability to exploit this. But then going back to Linea, yeah, I mean, a lot of optimistic roll-up sequencers are not particularly decentralized right now. That's kind of a lingering concern, and this situation may drive attention to it. But ultimately, I think that's kind of like a trade-off that we currently have to accept if we want to do DeFi on newer L2s, is that they simply, even if the tech is solid, there's not necessarily this level of decentralization because the sequencers are often being run by the lab or the group that launched it. And that goes back to kind of like the risk profile for what percentage of your portfolio you're going to put on a network. Important to keep in mind. There's really a lot here. This is not the sexiest DeFi topic, but there's a ton to unpack here.
Yeah, completely agree. Just to note what you had mentioned, there are forks of Velocore. Blade is one of them, but they use simple XYKs as opposed to, these CPMMs, which I guess are balancer style. So it could be, interestingly weighted pools like 80/20s and stuff like that. The other issue, and again, they're in the news again after what happened with Sunny on Optimism. Overnight has paused USD Plus on Linea and ZK Sync. No update on this being fixed. This was on Monday for mint and redemption, so you can't mint or redeem USD Plus on Linea or ZK Sync. My guess is because they were pretty tied in hard with Velocore specifically for USD Plus. So, not looking good for overnight. Hopefully they can find a good way to overcome this, find better solutions, maybe more awareness for getting better auditing updates, I guess. And maybe that's where Iron Blocks came in, having this layer specifically for because it's a real-time monitoring layer. And now Iron Blocks is actually building a firewall on, I guess, off the back of this. There's another solution, but yeah, this is interesting how this is kind of, and you mentioned it. You hit it right on the nose, Andrew. You have a lot of projects. That's the one thing about being an EVM or even source projects that are getting cloned everywhere. People are making their own, spins on it, and sometimes these lead to some really bad bugs, bad exploits. We love to see the growth. We love to see things moving along. If it wasn't for, people making changes, we'd still have a two protocol version of Solidly until Velodrome came and made that a one protocol thing. Yeah, there's a lot of things out there. Like I said, it's just that this is kind of just a reminder. We're still super early on this. Just be safe out there. Again, don't put too much into one protocol. Hopefully you are okay. Hopefully they can make users whole with something like this. But now that the funds are through on they're mixed in Tornado Not sure if that's going to be the case, but maybe they've got a big enough war chest to help make people whole, at least for people who got pretty boned on the selling on the backside off of this, as a lot of panic sellers happen to do. So we'll go ahead and switch over to an interesting move here. We've been talking about meme coins for a bit, right? And there's really nothing, as much as you can get tired about talking about meme coins, it's like the one cultural thing about crypto that's never going to go away. We're not going to want to see another meme coin, never not going to want to see another moonshot that makes things go crazy. And, legacies with yourself being, a lot of your work being on Solana. I just wanted to ask, did you buy into Mother?
No,
Okay.
I actually bought a ton of Brett on Base.
Good for you, man. Look at that. Brett to 1B FDV, thanks to, the big bags of legacies. Thank him later.
But yeah, I love meme coins just for the reason that it's just A, for the culture, B, for the DJness, and C, on every chain, I do believe it's going to spread. So if you find the dominant meme coin on the chain, no matter what chain it is, I think you're going to be, you're going to have a good time. But just remember, it's a very, very, very volatile asset. This isn't something where I will throw, more than a couple of percentage of my overall fund into this. Buy it, enjoy it for the laugh, and we'll see what happens.
Andrew, did you happen to load up the banana and hit on Mother? That's a terrible sentence. I apologize.
I did not. I did not load up the banana, Chris. That's correct.
I'm referring to Banana Gun, by the way.
I was reading like the news stories on it, and I in retrospect, I probably should have just bought some when I heard the news stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, up 520% on the 7 days. It's been around for over a week now, so it's getting a little
long
old.
time.
It's getting a little old. But Mother might have some legs. We'll see. It's fun to see a return to celebrity tokens, at least celebrity tokens that haven't been rugs thus far.
And there could be more. I mean, I do think that there will be more based off the back of this. I mean, this is almost like a book of memes moment, right? I'm not going to go that far, but it's interesting enough because, this is off the back of Sahil, coming through, well-known, apparently he's banned from Twitter. He's a well-known P&D guy with regards to...
Like, that's just such a bad look. So that seems really
That's
hard.
a terrible look. I mean, well, he helped Caitlyn Jenner get Jenner off the ground. And, he's done quite a few other things as well. Apparently, he tried to get pre-sale for Iggy, and she just told him to go kick rocks, and then launched Mother herself. If rumors are to be believed, she actually closed down her OnlyFans because she made so much money off of this launch for Mother. And that in itself is a very interesting bar to clear. Full disclosure, I do like Iggy Azalea. She's a pretty interesting opportunist. I am a fan of her work. This is just crazy. She even went and bought a Mad Lads. And to me, maybe she didn't, maybe her team did, but that's a pretty based move. I'm not going to shill some other projects here like Pioneer Legends, for example, from Legacies, but I'll let you do that during your time. But it's interesting that, now she's making these based moves. Good for her for telling Sahil to kick rocks and making this her own journey. And could we see more of this? We saw Dwight Howard do an NFT on Avalanche that pretty much got totally bashed. And I guess he tried to do the same on Solana. I don't know how well it did, but this is not the last time we're going to see celebrity meme coins kind of hit the fan. I do think the one thing we haven't had is social fi and celebrities together yet to a big degree. Friendtech had a little bit of that in the beginning, but I'm looking for more of that to happen. I still think that's going to happen, with some news we'll talk about in just a minute. But yeah, good on Iggy Azalea for Mother. And
So over under on Coinbase listing?
I don't know. I mean,
That's a good question.
I
Depends
heard
if they have-
I heard something about L Banks, so that's probably coming first.
oh boy. Yeah, no, not financial advice. Do your own research on that one. This whole thing is NFA, by the way. So yeah, I just wanted to share this because I was like, how did I miss this? First of all, because I don't know anyone that bought Mother. But good for her. I mean, this is what happens when you saturate the market with things like pump.fun, right? So it is what it is. Congrats to all of you holders.
Maybe this is really just giving us, a phase in this current run on meme coins of like, a flight to quality. People are looking for blue chip meme coins, for actual real world celebrities. You can only fork the little like cartoon dog so many times. Just some thoughts, just throwing it out there.
I mean, she's doing all the right things. Like the only thing you see from her on there is literally her backside on a tweet and with the $ tag of Mother. I'm like, my hat's off to you. You know how to get some TVL. Needless to say, apparently Vitalik is very unhappy. Why is this news? But whatever. Yeah, I guess I'm not even going to talk about the article. I just think it's funny that suddenly Vitalik is unhappy with celebrity meme coins. I don't know if there is ever a time to be happy about, celebrity. Maybe he's upset that it's not on ETH, it's on Solana. If you're looking to capitalize on this, you don't want to buy, go to Camino, go to Orca, set up a concentrated liquidity position with a wide range on Mother and Sol. Good luck. There's your alpha tip for the moment.
maybe he's just annoyed it isn't a celebrity meme coin about him.
I mean,
he's already
plenty.
we've already had one on his body parts, his mother, his cat, his dog. What does he want? That was a pretty good, but congrats to all the people who held it over
maybe
Christmas.
Daddy Vitalik is gonna need to make his own token. I don't know.
And you've met his father, have you not?
No, Chris. No,
oh, that was not you.
I have not.
Sorry,
it was not me. And you've been saying that for like 2 years.
Sorry, I thought you did. You were like, I thought you were behind him in line at East Denver for coffee.
Yes. I've
met
Vitalik's dad.
Thank you. By proxy, you have.
He was at a coffee shop in Denver.
Yep.
7 years ago. Yep.
Sure. we'll look at that. But today's June 5th. And one thing that we've been looking at is the debut of the smart wallet from Coinbase. I've been watching Coinbase's wallet overall since late 2021. I had big hopes for Coinbase wallet because, that I'm a longtime Coinbase customer since like 2013, 2011, whatever the day is. I don't remember anymore. All blurs together. I was following this in Denver. They had a contributor, dropping things off specifically. I know Base has been promoting this quite a bit for the smart wallet. I guess it's web-based, and you can use biometrics, Face ID, hardware wallet, Google Chrome profile. Man, missed out on a big Brave browser partnership there. Sponsored transactions is the part that's interesting because you can have protocols, blockchains, sponsoring gas, which I think is interesting. They're going to have the full 4337 account abstraction, all built in. And really, this is a move to help bring normies, civilians, whatever you want to call them, regular people into DeFi. Because really, let's be honest, all they have to do is snap 2 fingers and then get 1 billion people on base today. And the fact that they finally, after 2 years, have it working so you actually can spend your Coinbase balance. What took you so long? That was the one thing I wanted from launch. Didn't get it. Hopefully they made the UI a bit better. But start with you, Legacies. I know it's compatible with Solana. Are you going to use this?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
I have my anger with Coinbase for
I know.
a while. but
I know.
But, I mean,
but I thought I'd ask.
No, I mean, I'm so used to Phantom, and I actually wish Phantom increases more EVM chain, because they just added BTC on there. So I'm really hoping they add more layer 2s
Beneath mainnet.
Phantom.
Mhm.
Then, or if Rabby can add Solana, that would be my dream. But you know, one can always wish. Maybe I'll give it a whirl. You know, I shouldn't let my predisposed negativity affect me. I mean, if it's no, because okay, I used the core wallet that came out from AVAX.
From AVAX. Yep.
I hated it, other than it has a native function where you can bridge BTC onto
Right.
AVAX to swap.
Right.
I did not like the core wallet. It was very clunky when connecting. So I'll give it a spin. See if it's something I could add to the arsenal.
Yeah, and I full disclosure, I use Coinbase Wallet specifically at conferences. I think it's a very easy way to connect to people in person. One really got in Denver was from a team who was looking at the cross-chain messaging platform. I think it's called XMPP, or XMMP, one of the two. But I was able to send messages using my Coinbase wallet to other users. They've already made it easy to send money. You can just send a message with money to anybody who has a Coinbase wallet, even through text message. They just have to go and download the wallet and get it set up. So the fact that they've made it very easy to onboard anyone here, you can do it through mobile web. You can do it through, I'm sure that they probably won't have an app, because why would they do that to get into the App Store issues, right? But using the fingerprint, this is all very interesting, very cool. I hope it catches on, because we do need more people other than us and the 35,000 Sybils that are in DeFi currently, right? So, Andrew, your thoughts on this? Are we gonna upgrade from Rabby to Coinbase Wallet as the Reco?
No.
Okay. Fair. We're such boomers.
Man, I gotta be honest. My main experience with Coinbase Wallet has not been using it, but has been coaching members of our mastermind and like debugging their setup, and realizing that one of our new members is having a conflict between having multiple wallets enabled on their browser. And Coinbase Wallet, less these days, but it used to always be that wallet, like when they were really pushing it, I think after initial launch, it was always that wallet that was conflicting with something.
Yeah.
So just for that reason, I don't want to see. I have never installed Coinbase Wallet, and they would. I won't say I would never do it, because if you lure me in with enough points farming or potential NFTs or some sort of airdrop, I probably could be convinced. But barring any sort of barring the territory that I wanted to be a Coinbase Wallet Sibler, no.
Base airdrop. Let's go.
Let's go, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you my take on this. I already have, in a way. I could see an ecosystem where this feeds everything. And the key to this is going to be Farcaster, because Degen, huge project on Farcaster. They have a top of base, which comes from Coinbase. I sound like Ken Jeong on The Masked Singer. And ultimately, I do think that this is all going to tie together, because if there's one thing that Farcaster needs, is probably a better wallet that can make the experience much better. So if you have a wallet where you can easily have, tie into easy payments to send to other users, get on Farcaster, get into Degen, with all the whole tipping culture there and just providing content, as well as, the ability to find ways to make money from within your phone. And yeah, I mean, same thing. My other favorite, Chris, has also mentioned the same thing. The only reason why I use it at mobile is just because of how easy it is to use in person. I think that will be helpful for a lot of new people coming in. Will it appease power users? If they can find a way to out quality of life Rabby, sure. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it's going to be, the main thing that I'll be using moving forward. But it's good to see that they're making strides on this. There's a lot of things that 4337 provides that weren't good, or that are much better than they were previously, like being able to roll back transactions, being able to have some sort of, account abstraction is the other thing, but being able to not need a seed phrase. These are things that other projects like Sonar Wallet from Kujira and other types of wallets that are coming out, like Magic Eden's wallet, also are working on and making better. So I've long called for a wallet meta for almost 18 months now, and I do think that the next wave of users in here is going to be based on these wallets, because we're seeing blockchains start to blur together, right? Where it's not just EVM, Solana, and Cosmos anymore. We have modularity happening, so that the newest blockchains are going to have Ethereum payment rails, a Solana virtual machine, and Celestia as the data availability layer. And it's all just going to blend together. And I think that's where these wallets, specifically for a wallet that works with TON, which is the open network from Telegram, once they all make all of this together, we're going to get more people in here, more retail interest, and Bitcoin being at 100K, look out for the powder keg, guys. And that was my take.
Good take.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and move into what we've learned. I just wanted to also thank our guest here today on the panel, not only just Andrew, but also Legacy's founder of Aeon Ventures. Before we do that, I would like you to do two things for us. If you could please like the stream, help us out in the algorithm, subscribe if you have not already, and check out our free group if you have not already. Total Value Locked, school.com/beacon. Follow countless numbers of other people who are already learning from the best and become a safe and secure DeFi investor for absolutely free. Join us at school.com/beacon. All right, so back to our guest.
Hey, I think we got some breaking news. Just real quick. Bringing it full circle back to the way we started this call.
Tell me.
It looks like the Bank of Canada has lowered interest rates by 25 basis points, dropping rates from 5% to 4.75%. Get ready. Canada has launched the domino effect.
I don't know where that's going to go.
Come on, guys. What? No chuckles? No laughs? It was a joke.
Blame Canada?
Actually a joke. Anyway.
Okay. Sorry.
Full circle.
I mean, I don't...
Back to Fed policy.
The fact that Canada has a policy on crypto that's different for the western side of the country than the eastern side of the country is just wild to me. But
what, are you not a true federalist, Chris? Of course, local laws, it's a completely different place, Western Canada versus Eastern Canada.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I
suppose so. Anyway, again, thanks again to our guest Legacies for being here on the panel today. One of my favorite people in this space. Wanted to talk to you a little bit today, Legacies, about, first of all, I definitely want you to explain about Aeon Ventures. Tell us a little bit about what you've been working on. I know the Pioneer Legends. Full disclosure, I'm a holder in multiple of Legacy's projects. Has been doing pretty well. So definitely talk about that. We'll talk about the other thing we want to talk about as well.
Sure. So Aeon Ventures is more like a think group I created back during the I would say the bear market, where all these projects are getting rugged. It first just started with a very little, like 6 members, and we're just tired of getting rugged and getting owned in DeFi in general. And then we just kind of started talking and then just sharing ideas, and then it grew to sort of like a group where it's now having over 1,000 members strong. Currently, it is free to join, so please hop on over if you're interested. Um, Pioneer Legends is sort of like a game that I created on Solana for passive income. I noticed that the in Solana, no one really had any idea what they're doing when it comes to crypto mining and everything. And I know this is something that's very interesting for a lot of people, but bottom line is they don't have the business experience or sort of like the knowledge to set it up correctly. I mean, retail miners, if you don't have a lot of capital, you're going to get wrecked, plain and simple. But when I created Pioneer Legends, I mean, you can just buy an NFT and you'll get airdrop Solana based off of the three coins that's mine, which is Caspa, BTC, LTC, and Doge. Sorry, 4 coins. And pair with another sort of like a DeFi on-ramping a business that I run. That's where the profit comes from, and it's shared it's airdrop. The airdrops are shared with all the holders on a weekly basis, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm a big believer of passive income. I sort of feel that passive income can be the way for people to sort of achieve financial freedom in this space. So I'm trying my best to work on a lot of projects to sort of do that. Keep in mind, my team is fairly small. I'm not some like huge backing with VCs. So there is there is like sometimes the hiccups and stuff. We do our best to try to fix it, but that's the goal. It's just to bring DeFi, bring this whole space more accessible for the average J users and for them to understand it better. My take on it is always to learn. There's just so much information out there, and you can never get enough information. And and once you do, I personally feel that it's a very, very profitable venture, and that's what we're about.
Wonderful. I want to hop on a topic we actually talked about quite a bit before even Andrew joined in, and it's something that I think is something we've kind of talked about quite a bit on the show the last couple of months. And is BTC Fi going to have a huge future overall? Right? Obviously, right now, short term, a lot of hype with ordinals, with runes, with ordi. All of these coins and projects coming forward, trying to make BTC into a DeFi chain, BTC Lightning in particular. I just wanted for you to repeat some of your thoughts on this, because I thought it
Yeah,
was your take was very interesting.
I don't personally think so, just because it's still a very, very slow chain. I operate on BTC on a daily basis. Personally, I fucking hate it. Excuse my language. Sorry about that.
That's
But
fine.
no, because you're waiting to get something, and then you're
Yeah,
literally, you can be waiting for 5 minutes or 3 hours
it's
or
10-minute
even
blocks, right?
24 hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you have like congestions on there, and then it's just there's nothing you can do about it. And versus EVM, with the development going on, it's just so much more efficient, so much faster, and so much better things can be built on it. However, here's the thing: from all my experiences dealing with BTC and all the businesses that still currently transacting BTCs and everything, big money is still in there. The true maxis of BTCs won't ever leave, and that's why they I mean, I seen layer twos being built. I'm sort of looking over at a project right now where they're coming out with a token that represents a hash rate, and if you stake it, you get native BTC as a yield on it. So it's very, very interesting. But do I personally think that it's going to overtake in terms of functionality over a EVM chain or Solana? Absolutely not. I just don't think it's going to get to that stage, which is fine, because I think the maxis don't care. They see BTCs for what it is, the pure sort of true decentralization, where it's very, very anonymous, and they want it that way. It doesn't necessarily need a layer two, is what I hear from the maxis. As long as BTC is not controlled, and it's already sort of being recognized by not just the USA but by governments all around the world. That's what they want, and that's what they prefer.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I wanted to also talk to you about DAGs. God, with the DAG.
Yes, I think so.
um,
And I mean,
You want
this is where I
DAG?
know where like the bull market is sort of coming back. When I get Instagram feeds talking about block DAG and how, hey, if you bought BTC back in 2011, you would have 20,000 percentage. If you bought Solana at $2, you would have done this. And I always find these ads kind of interesting. In reality, DAG in itself, yes, sharding and everything is faster, but there's no smart contract in place. And again, it's eons behind, in my opinion, EVM and the devs and everything. Could it be the next big thing? Who knows, right? But I personally, it's just have a big question mark on it, because it goes back to my theory or thinking of, do we need this many chains? Crypto in itself is already super confusing for the average user. When we're talking just about EVM, all the layer 1s and 2s, then we have Solana, and then BTC. If you try to explain all of this to the average user, their head is already spinning. And now you add sort of like, block DAG and all of this in the equation. It's just more, I personally feel like it's just more on top of stuff that the average retail investor isn't ready for. The only thing that does excite them is, hey, how many X's or multiples can I earn in a bull market, right? I mean, that's where you start with sort of this. I get it, but functionality wise, I haven't seen anything that excites me too much, to be quite honest.
except for maybe this one, right? So I did want to ask you about this, since you said you are doing a little bit of Caspa mining.
Yes.
For anybody who might be unaware of what Caspa is, it is the first official block dagger direct acrylic, gosh darn it, graph that's out there. It's just a different type of ledger system that's out there that is, somewhat EVM-ish, but not particularly.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that because I think it has the biggest community support, along with
Right.
actual devs that's competent that's working on it. That's why you kind of see the price trending very high. On top of that, another really positive sort of thing about it is it has the good enough funding, and you have the sort of miners support on it. Meaning you have the companies that's building the machines, and they're also, with that, they're also trying their best to sort of create that ecosystem for it. I'm really hopeful that smart contract can come into play for it, and Caspa to $1. But mainly, I personally also use it because I run my own mining farms, and I also have my own hosting site. I use it as sort of like a hedge against BTC. A lot of miners weren't prepared for the halving. They were really bullish on it, thinking that the price was going to, eclipse 85,000 right away. And if you're a miner, you'll know right now that at current retail prices, the S19 Pros are not profitable. Only the S21s and the M60s are profitable, which is a very scary case if you're a miner, because no one wants to be mining at a loss. But if you would have hedged yourself, let's say with LTC miners or Caspa, you would still be in very good shape right now. And that's the thing. You don't need a lot of misconception is because you don't need to hold those coins after you mine it. You get those on a daily basis. So convert them to BTC if you're bullish on BTC. Convert them to ETH if you think ETH is going to be better. But my take on it is you got to diversify when you're mining, and always hedge, and also make sure that you're getting your ROI ASAP, because no one can predict the market. That's the thing. And I've seen not just retail investors getting wrecked, but actually institutional investors getting wrecked, because their calculations are just way off, because they're not looking at everything from the whole scope.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, again, thank you for being here with us today. Thanks for the talk. I would love to. We could talk for hours on this.
Oh,
Legacies is
absolutely.
one of the smartest people I know in this space. Very successful degen. I love meeting really smart based degens, and Legacy is at the top of the list, or near the top of the list for me. I appreciate you for being here and being a part of our community, sir.
Not a
We're going to go
problem.
ahead. Oh, thank you again for being here. And
Thanks for
we're going
having
to
me.
move on to, of course. Can't wait to have you back. We have, so we'll have links for Pioneer Legends and any of the Ion Ventures in there, in our, in what we have in our show notes. So going to move to call for help. We're going to do 2 quick questions here. The first, we'll hopefully get some help for the second one, but for the first one, that's a question from Jill. The question is, what's the difference between Rabby Wallet in the desktop and Rabby Wallet in the Chrome extension? How do you get those wallets to work together? It's a great question. If you go to Rabby.io, Rabby is the wallet that we recommend overall to our new members. It is an open source project from DBank built on top of MetaMask. So many good quality of life things that are in there. Just can't recommend it highly enough. The fact that I was able to get Andrew to move over to Rabby was just a beautiful miracle in itself, because I thought he'd be a stalwart guy for life. But yeah, he's a Rabby convert and he's loving it. So the difference between Rabby Wallet on the extension, which goes into your wallet, into your browser, like if you're using Brave or Chrome, is that you can create what's called a seed phrase wallet or a hot wallet. The difference with that in the desktop version, which is a fantastic desktop app that I actually use quite a bit here on my Mac. You can also use it for Windows, and I don't think they have one for Linux just yet, but in either case, the difference is that you cannot do that on the desktop wallet. Meaning if you open up Rabby on the desktop, you can only link up a hardware wallet or a mobile created wallet, which is, we don't recommend doing mobile on DeFi, DeFi on mobile. So if you're looking for a good place to, use your hardware wallet without having to go into a web browser, use the desktop version of Rabby. It has a built-in browser with bookmarks and everything you need to have a nice, safe, and secure experience. And it's top-notch. Really enjoy that experience on there. So that's really the main reason for using it on the desktop. Then that would be the difference between that and the Chrome extension, which allows you to have a hot wallet. So if you're using it for speculation or checking out a different project, or just having like a transitory wallet between you and another protocol so you don't put your funds in a hardware wallet at risk, you can have that there specifically within the Rabby wallet in the extension. So thanks for that question. Hopefully that answered that question. The next question is from Teresa, who asks, how do I buy HBAR? HBAR is from Hedera Hashgraph. Very, I don't want to use the word old. It's been around for a while. We've had one of its founders on one of our alpha calls previously. And it's a very interesting privacy decentralized coin, right? Hedera's got an interesting future ahead of them, because they were actually accepted to the FedNow protocol, which is, the global transport of funds between central banks across the globe. So that's big news for Hedera. Now, I will go through and tell you the exact easiest way that I know of. And we've done this in a training on our Beat the Banks trainings every Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern on our school platform, like I mentioned, school.com/beacon. What I normally do is I just go to CoinMarketCap and I choose CoinMarketCap over CoinGecko, because they just have it a little bit better on the UI or the user interface side. So in this case, I'm going to look up HBAR, which is the coin for Hedera. Looks like the chart is looking pretty interesting. It's good to see. It's rebounding. Could be in a nice little accumulation pattern here. But what you'll want to do here is click on markets and then Hedera markets. And this is where it kind of separates itself from something like from CoinGecko, because they have it split by either all SEX or DEX. SEX being the centralized exchange, DEX being a decentralized exchange. So for you, Teresa, I believe you're a US citizen. Honestly, the best place you're going to have to go is probably over to Coinbase, unless you can get into DeFi and move some USDT over to something like MEXC, which takes crypto deposits, or any of these others to take crypto deposits from DeFi, if you wanted to go at that level. Otherwise, if you're going to go into the DeFi level using a decentralized exchange, they do have a blockchain at Hedera, And Saucer Swap is the largest DEX there. In fact, if you just kind of click around here going left, going right, you're just going to continue to see nothing but Saucer Swap. I'm sure there are other DEXs on Hedera by there, but I can put together a guide on how to bridge to Hedera. It's not the easiest chain to get to, quite honestly. So your best bet, if you just want to buy HBAR, is going to be on a centralized exchange, such as a Coinbase. OKX, I don't know if they allow US deposits right now. Do they legacies? I don't know if he's with us, but in any case, this is pretty much the easiest way to buy Hedera if you're out there. If you know of anybody here leave a comment here if you're able to do that. So would love to get any additional feedback on how you buy HBAR, but those would be the only real ways. It is an ERC20 token, so you probably should be able to also buy it on Ethereum mainnet if you go to Uniswap, or just using DeFi Llama Swap. That should be available. What we can also do here is just go to swap.defilllama.com, and it would probably just go to Ethereum mainnet, and then under select token, we would just go back to CoinMarketCap. And do we have an ERC20 token contract? I don't see one. Yeah, if there was available on Uniswap, it would be there. Otherwise, let's see. Yeah, Ledger will go through Coinbase, so that's not going to be too helpful for you there. But yeah, looks like I don't see an ERC20 contract. Otherwise, it'd be right here in this space. But yeah, one thing you could also do, join their Discord. I know that they have a pretty big community, long-standing community. They do love their HBAR. We have multiple members who've been holding HBAR for a very long time. And let's see. Well, hopefully they have a Discord. I'm not completely sure, but they should. I personally have not joined it, but there, right there. Sorry, Discord. Join their Discord. Follow them on Twitter. Find out places to buy HBAR. Those are all the 7 different ways you can get around it. Andrew, do you still do you hold HBAR at all?
I don't.
I know CJ did it sometime, but he didn't love the DeFi experience there. But you know,
I feel like we might have a little bit of a baby candle. I wonder if it has to do with the rate cut.
Maybe, or maybe Legacies is buying HBAR right now. Yeah, putting in those.
I wasn't looking at HBAR
whale
specifically.
bags.
I was looking at ETH.
Oh,
but,
you're looking at ETH.
Yeah.
I am going to look at that. I just got back. Sorry about that, but
No, that's okay.
Before
Yeah,
we wrap
so we
up,
went
I
through-
just want to say as well, thanks for joining us, Legacies. It was a pleasure chatting. Maybe we can make more jokes about Mother in the future.
Absolutely, Andrew. It was great chatting with you.
Mother and Brett, the dynamic duo we didn't realize we needed. Congrats to Brett, of course, on 1 billion FTV. That's big news.
It is absolutely
Big news. So we'll see where we go from here. That's the show we have for today, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday here on our YouTube channel, 1 p.m. Eastern, where we'll have another panel of fantastic guests from around here in the DeFi space. Stick around for me guys here real quick as we get off the air. But again, have a great day. 07, beacons up, banks down. See you guys later.